All right, so I'm pinging Dinesh and Bawa. Let's see what happens. So just hang tight. We'll get them online.
Hello.
Bawa, how are you?
I'm good.
Are you joining the Zoom session?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, give me 5 minutes.
Okay, fine. I'll just hold these people online. Okay, cool. See you in 5.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, people. So 5 minutes. If you have any questions, write them in the chat box. And we shall see how we can get those answered. Wait, so maybe I can join. I don't know. How do I do that? Let's see. What I can do is okay. Cool. We can do it like this. All right. So can you hear, right? People online. Okay. So here they are, I think. There they are. Connecting to audio. Hi, Baba.
Sorry. Okay,
All right. There you are.
there I am.
Ah. Where's your partner in crime?
Partner in crime is
Godke साहेब कसे आहात?
छान छान.
बसून घ्या. आपल्याला टाइम आहे. Sit.
Yes.
we have a,
What time?
at 4:30, 8 minutes ago actually.
8 minutes ago, actually.
So can Dinesh
Yeah, he can join midway. That's not a big deal. He can just walk in and out. It's fine.
now, or you can join after half an hour, whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah. It's all free flow. Don't worry about that.
ठीक है. Okay.
Okay, so he's going to just join later.
I don't know. He's
Okay, fine. Yeah, he's doing his thing. That's fine. Cool. So, Bawa, welcome to Physics of Pranayama channel. And the tagline of this channel, Bawa, is it's a place for left-brained, right-thinking people.
okay.
All right. So, okay. So with that, we'll kick off. So rather than introduce you, I'm thinking we'll just do your introduction via Q&A, right? So that'll be a good way to start off, right? So tell us, you were a graduate from the IIT Bombay,
Mhm.
and what did you do there?
In mathematics, I did a master's degree in mathematics.
Masters in mathematics, right? And you entered the institute when? 91?
91. Yeah.
91, yeah, right. So how was it? So when you entered the institute, a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed Khurshed Batliwala enters the institute. Describe that day for us.
Actually. Uh, the funny part was me and a friend of mine, Rajiv, we had both kind of studied and cracked the MSc entrance. And to celebrate, we went to the opposite Radha Krishna to have some booze.
Right.
To know that, okay, we've cracked it. It was full. There was no table. Except for there was this one table where there was an uncle sitting on one side looking kind of sloshed, and
Yeah.
there was space for the two of us on the other side. So it was okay, doesn't matter. We can sit there.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what we had. Most probably it would have been rum because I never used to have anything else. And we got that. And the guy next opposite us says, IIT se ho? We said, हाँ अभी अभी एडमिशन हुआ. अच्छा, very good. कहाँ पे? We said मैथ्स डिपार्टमेंट में. ओ, हम भी वहाँ सिखाते हैं, हम प्रोफेसर है वहाँ पे.
Nice.
That was the
That was your introduction to IIT. Nice.
That
So
was-
you were in age 5?
yes, I was in hostel 5.
In 91 was my 4th year in age 5. And I was on the anti-ragging squad. You remember?
Kind of.
Kind of. Yeah, it's very vague. So how was it, Bawa? So there is a underbelly to the IIT, which means most people don't know, right? Because PGs are treated as second-grade citizens because it's a UG institute, isn't it? Did you face any of that?
Not really, because I was the coolest PG around.
Yeah.
I won so many competitions for H5 that I don't think they even considered me a PG.
Right, right. No, but when you entered, did you feel that thing when you entered?
Um, yeah, there was a sense of extreme superiority that the UGs seemed to carry.
Yeah.
But then I would give that to them because they did manage to crack that horrific JE, which by all means they should be proud of.
Yeah, but we take it to a different level at IIT, because everybody comes as a topper to the institute, and then you are among toppers and like you're a nobody there. It's like it's a total renormalization.
That's where when you know how to play the piano or act, it really helps.
Exactly. If you can get into the cult scene, that's beautiful. Yeah. So, do you identify with this movie Chichore?
Completely.
It's an amazing movie. I mean, my God.
In fact, a lot of my students were quite, taken aback by what happened in the movie. And I said, he's dumbed it down. We did much worse things. And they were like, they almost fell off their chairs.
Yeah, right. And I was talking with Rajure, and he was a little bit worked up. He says, Chichore mein dikhaya ki Hostel 5 always was zero, but we were never zero. We were maybe second or third. We were not top two.
Poetic license, yeah.
Poetic license, right.
तो डालना पड़ेगा ना जीरो पे.
कुछ तो डालना करेक्ट लेकिन 5 को डाला यार क्या है. So when you entered, you were assigned, I'm thinking, a room on the ground floor in the hostel.
Correct. Inbuilt with 2 frogs and 6 lizards.
Those rooms are earmarked for PGs.
But to my credit, I stayed in that room for like less than 15 days before I was picked up by Wing 42. So
Wing 4-2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Acha, 4-2. Right. So you're in Premi's wing, Premnath.
yes, though I didn't know him at all.
Right. So Allah, Al Hihi, Premnath, all these people. Right. Yeah, because I mean, he was a fourth year right when you were there,
So
I guess.
they must be just getting ready to, leave, or, they
Yeah, we
must.
were into our Valfy mode and we were all right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I know Dhile very well. I know JJ,
Huh.
Sumit, Kapoor, Sony, Kedar Sony.
Yeah, yeah,
These
yeah.
people who I used to kind of really hang around with.
Right. So those were from my point of view, they were the second and third year rights so it makes sense that you guys hung out there. So as a PG upgraded to the UG wing, did you go through like ragging?
No,
No, no.
yeah. for the sim- for the simple reason is because I guess I have always been a very generous person,
Huh.
and I used to go weekends home, so I would get a lot of food. So I don't
Grub,
think
yes, grub.
they lack somebody who had their food pipeline on. So I was spared of all that really.
Smart move, Bawa. Really, really. Yeah.
I mean, it was not something that I thought of doing. It's just something that I would have done anyway.
Right.
And somehow that was the repercussion that, in fact, I remember feeling once or twice, ki, why the hell don't these people rag me here? I felt a little left out of that actually.
Right. And the thing about grub in H5 is that the H5 mess is the ultimate, like, that is zero. In Chichore, they should have shown the S5 mess to be zero.
And I would
Isn't it?
have to.
And then when you come with grub, you're like God.
I remember having dal in the H5 mess, which when it fell on my shirt would not stain water in it, and yet it was burnt. So I have no idea how they managed to perfect the art of burning yellow colored water.
Yes, really. Mhm. You remember Sukumar? He was one of the mess workers.
Yes.
And he was like a bunny rabbit on steroids.
Yeah.
I mean, he would snatch the plate out from under our noses even before we had finished the food.
But the same guy had made me a kada when my throat was really bad, and it had helped a lot.
Oh yeah, no, no, he was an amazing fellow. I mean, he was so helpful. But yeah. So how was it in MSc Mathematics? I don't have a good idea of that side of the campus. What did you guys actually do?
I think that was my major pain point, um, where I felt kind of betrayed and let down that even the most premier institute in the country actually expected you to make notes from the board and mug it up and then spit it out in the exam.
Yeah.
I had very different expectations from IIT, and other than maybe one or two profs who were an absolute joy to be with, the others were run of the mill humdrum people who were doing a job, literally. And I remember in my second semester itself, kind of wanting to quit and get out. And I did that. I literally did that. I stopped being in the hostel. I started staying at home because I it didn't make any sense to me. That education kind of didn't make any sense to me, really. And it was PAF time, and Kedar Soni called and said, "Look, you know, I don't care whether you are doing your degree or not doing your degree or whatever it is, but you are a pianist, you are an actor, you are brilliant at what you do. So you bloody well come back to the hostel and help us in the PAF,
Yeah,
because you're still a hostelite. You're still from IIT."
right.
So I came back, and of course we had a fabulous PAF. Uh,
Which
and
one was that? In 91, what was it?
I
I don't
don't remember.
remember now. Yeah.
The theme was it was that one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Ah, yes, yes, that one. That was a brilliant one. Yeah, yeah.
An absolutely brilliant path. And the music was live. Like there was not a single note of recorded music, and we
Correct.
got points on music because the idiot judges thought that it was recorded.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, I remember that.
And that's how we lost the PAF. It was because I played too well.
Because you played too well. There was no flaw there. Yes.
So yeah. So that now at that time there was a Professor MC Joshi who happened to be in the audience, who called me to his office and said to me, a person who can play the piano so well cannot be this bad at maths. What's going on?
Oh, right.
And I told him the entire thing. I said, this place sucks. I mean, I had nothing to lose, right?
Yeah. Right.
I was like, anyway, I'm leaving. So I kind of told him the whole thing. And then he said something very interesting. He said, but you know, you cannot change a system by getting out of it. If you want to really change a system, you have to stay in it. And I remember that semester I had got X's because not enough attendance. So five subjects X, and his subject numerical analysis, I got a B, which was higher than a lot of people who actually attended the course.
Attended the cars. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Because he said that you know your subject, but you know I will not take your marks away because you didn't come to my class. And that was where it all kind of came together, and I said, all right, you know, I can do something over here. And uh, basically what I did in my I did like two three fairly crazy things. One was that i did a I did a project in computer science rather than statistics. Like in the first year, first semester, if you know the specialization you would get in the maths department would be dependent on your grades.
Right.
And I did not have good enough grades, clearly because I didn't like the subjects.
Sure.
And so I was forced to do statistics, not CS, which I really wanted to do. So I did my MSc project in CS, and it was hailed as one of the best projects done. And I had kind of driven home the point that, you know, if you had let me study in CS, I would have been a much better. I would have, you know. So after that, after our batch graduated, they dropped that requirement and said people can choose what they want to choose.
Huh,
So
right. Okay.
that was one big crack.
Who was your advisor in CS?
Dr. AK Pani.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Right.
So so
That,
that one big change that happened. I think to an extent because of me.
yeah, yeah, right.
Second interesting thing that I did, I'm not going to take the name of the prof here. Is, because I had flunked so many subjects in the second semester, I had to take a few courses which my junior batch did not opt for. So that course was not run. So I was basically one-on-one taught
Right.
that course. And it was like the textbook was unlike the others, just some 40 pages. And it was just, I think, some 26 or 27 theorems, each theorem with a proof length of maybe 6 or 7 printed pages, you know, something like that. And we had basically, he had gone through the entire thing. And I used to keep telling him that I hope you don't expect me to mug this up. You know that I have understood. I know that I have understood. I don't think I really need to learn it by heart to prove to you that I know my subject, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And he would just laugh, this, that, and then the other. And I said, these these theorems are really nice, and I love the application part of it, you know. So I mean, throughout the course, I said this often, and he had no doubt that I knew the subject, that I understood, you know.
Right. Mhm.
In the end semester exam, this man asked some, I think, 40 on 50 on theorems and 10 on applications. So I had not mugged it by heart. So I just did the 10 marks and left it.
Yeah.
And he called me and I said, you know, you are giving me a E, meaning a re-exam.
Yeah.
You should have given me an A. And then he gave me some gyan about, but you know, it has to be finally what is written on the paper, this, that, and the other, whatever. I said, okay. So when do you want me to take the re-exam? So he said, whenever you wish. So I said, okay, give me 5-6 days. So 5-6 days I sat and mugged up all the 25 theorems, whatever they were. And on the day of the exam, I went and just didn't even look at the question paper. I just puked the whole thing out. And then I'd taken red marker pen, and I remember writing at the bottom of that 25-page theorems that this does not mean that I understand any of the above. And I
Right.
gave it. And the guy was a changed man,
Yeah.
after that. So yeah, in my own mad Parsi way, I did a few things that I think helped the future generations of
Future
people.
generations. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's really important because most people don't know this underbelly of IIT. They have this whole concept that people are sitting under the tree and figuring out all these esoteric stuff. How many people have you seen sitting under a tree at IIT campus? Zero. Did we lose you?
No,
No, you're there. Okay, fine. So, have you watched this movie, Superman, the first one, the Christopher Reeve one, the original one, right? So, उसमें एक scene है where Louis Lane is falling from a building, and for the first time, Clark Kent becomes Superman, and he grows up and he catches her, and he says, "Don't worry, I got you." And then she says, "You got me. Who's got you?" Because she doesn't know Superman. So when I was speaking with Kashi and Rajore, etc., they said, Bawa got us to the art of living. So I'm going to ask you, you got them, who got you?
It was a phone call. A very dear friend of mine, Shamal Durve, her name is. I learned Reiki with her earlier. Reiki was my first introduction. In fact, I never used to. Okay, so if you want the whole story, let me tell you the whole story.
Yeah.
So I was a very typical. I don't believe in all this esoteric stuff unless I can make it into an equation, basically.
Yeah.
Uh, and on the day of the entrance exam,
Mhm.
I had a I had a little bit of a fever and just not feeling good, right? And there was no way I could take some medicine there because at that time all the medicines for fever, headache were those which put you to sleep, and I needed to be awake for the exam, right?
Right.
And I knew that Dad had learned this Reiki thing, whatever it was. So I said, "What the hell, yaar? What harm can it do? I can't take medicine." So I just told Dad, whatever this thing that you have learned, give it to me, do it for me. And he gave Reiki to me for about 15-20 minutes, and I felt brilliant. The whole uneasiness, everything went, and I really went and cracked that exam. And I felt this is something I should learn, and so I learned Reiki. And then Shamal, who happened to be my Reiki teacher and also very, very fat, called up and told me that uh, there is this course on breathing and you have to do it. So I still have very high regard for her. And she said, "You have to do this course on breathing." And I said, "What are you talking about? What breathing?" She said, "Just come." And I said, "How much does it cost?" So she said, "तेरे को क्या फर्क पड़ता है? तेरा बाप भरने वाला है."
Correct.
And before I could say anything else, she said, "Look, I have to call up so many other people. I don't have time to talk to you. If you don't come for the course, I will come home and sit on you." And she said,
That's the reference to the heaviness. I see. Yeah.
so I said, "Okay, I will go there." And I tell you, it was the third day of the course. I even came to know name of the course was Art of Living.
Right.
So that's how.
Who was the teacher? Who was your teacher?
That's
Oh, Rajshri. Right. So this was in Mumbai,
Yes.
and it was in your home, the course?
No.
No.
It was just next door, really. It was a big course, 70-80 people course. So it was happening. It was really literally organized by Shaman completely. The
I see.
whole gang had gone for the course.
So you were the only person from IIT on that course?
Yes.
Yes. This was
I
in
was the only person under 50 on that course, yeah, under
Acha.
40.
Under 50. Right, right. And this was what, 92 or 93?
Sometime in 92, yeah.
92, right. Okay. And then Dinesh, etc., came to campus when 93-ish, right? Something like that.
Yeah. So I had never met Dinesh before he came for the course.
Yeah.
He did the
But
course, I think,
Rajore was 92.
he was among the first few people who did the course. Actually, he did the course with Rajshri. So every time Rajshri would teach a course, I would take like 10-15 people from IIT, promising them good food at home.
Good food at home, right?
That's how.
Yeah, I have a similar story. You remember Vikas Bhatia?
Very well.
Tall Lambu guy? Yeah, right. So he was in the across wing from you, maybe. Three.
Oh,
So he visited us. So we knew him, of course, from IIT days. And then he visited us in the United States. And there was something different about him. He was quite calm, etc. So my wife Madhuri also knows him. So Madhuri asked him a question, because you're doing something, it's working for you. What are you doing? So that was her question. You know what my question was? I said, "Kya drugs le raha hai be? Kya ho gaya tere ko?" Then he said, "Oh, this art of living course, etc." So just like you, I need to. It's the left brain thing. I said, "Show me the money. Show me how it works, and then maybe I look." And exactly the same thing my instructor said. He says, you can't learn swimming by just standing outside and reading a textbook. You got to jump into the water. And then after that first jump, things have been different. So what was the toughest thing that you had to go through at IIT?
Um, I think the toughest thing was really this discrimination that people did with each other depending on grades, which, like 10 days after passing out from IIT, you realize it didn't matter at all.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately, it happens 10 days after. Yeah.
it's like that, those 3-4 years you spend over there slaving for that is so completely irrational and completely unnecessary, because finally it's really what you learn, not the grades you've got. Nobody asks you your grades.
Yeah, right.
That's what I tell all my students now, that don't bother about the marks. There, nobody will ask you the marks. People will only ask you what you know, and that's all that matters. Nothing else matters. And someone with very good marks may get a head start, but if they don't know their subject, they will lose their edge. Whereas a person with not so good marks but real knowledge may not start off too well, but within a few months, a year max, people around will realize, this person really knows their stuff, and they will get promotion after promotion. They will be super successful.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
When you are in the study mode, forget about certificates, forget about marks, forget about all this. Focus on what matters, getting the knowledge. I mean, that's what our first book, Ready Study Go, is all about.
Right, right. Yeah. Right. So I was going to ask you, but you answered it already. I was going to ask you, with all this perspective. So one advantage we have today, you and I, is that we have this perspective on life, and we know what we were in the 1991-92 time frame. So what advice would you give somebody who is starting off, going to institutes like the IIT or maybe any institute? It doesn't matter really.
This is exactly what I tell them. Enjoy your life, enjoy your time there. Uh, I'm not saying you go and flunk, but I'm also saying that you don't need to be the topper. Uh, that should not be the primary goal of your education. The primary goal of your education is to actually get the education. That's it.
Right, right. So you graduated 95-ish?
91, 93, 94 times.
94 times, right? Okay.
Lost 1 year. I mean, gained it actually.
Gained 1 year, right, right. Gained 1 year.
I remember, in the last semester that I was there, I had only one exam in the mid-sem week and one exam in the end-sem week. So I actually had the advantage of thoroughly enjoying the campus. So I could actually go for walks. I could, watch sunrises and sunsets, go to the lake. And during the mid-sem and end-sem week, I would ask the professor to take my exam first, like the first day, finish it, and come back and rent the video and the TV. Sit and watch movies. And everybody would say, "You are so lucky." And I said, "Hello, I was the guy who failed, remember?"
You remember, right?
So
Yeah. In those days, yeah. I wish we had the wisdom in those, but it's all retrospective. So I'm not even going to go there. So when you graduated, you obviously had the choice. You could do whatever the heck you wanted. You're a smart guy. And you chose to do something that most people would not consider doing. How did you come to that decision that you got to go to
because I had
bank?
because I had so much time to think. No, uh, I really sat and thought about it. What is it that I truly want in life? And the answer was, I want to be happy, and I want to make people around me happy. And if that was the case, then doing what my seniors were doing and what other people were doing when they were graduating was clearly not making them happy. They were all telling me, Bawa, enjoy yourself now, because when you graduate, life becomes really, really tough.
Right. Yeah.
I was getting screwed in IIT, so I was wondering what really tough is actually going to be. You
Mhm.
know, so uh, I then, of course, by that time I had done the Art of Living course, and there is this 5 foot nothing little person who exudes joy and happiness, and I thought it's better that I go towards this person rather than what everybody else is doing, because if I want to be different from everyone, I will need to do different from everyone.
Correct. Yeah.
And so it was a no-brainer. I never even sat for any campus placement interviews because I was very clear, I don't want to do a job. I will not do this. At the same time, I have to say that even at that time, I was like, money is important. Uh, I am not allergic to money. Uh, Happiness plus money is the most amazing combination. But if I had to choose between the two, I would choose happiness.
So how
And
did it work? You made a phone call? You went,
meaning,
you just made a phone call to Bangalore saying, guys, I want to come and like work with you. How did it all work out?
no, I did the advanced course, I did the teachers training course. And then Gurudev actually asked me when I finished my graduation whether I wanted to go to America and study further, get a doctorate. He said, don't worry about money, I will sponsor you.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Said, you don't worry about anything. Whatever you want, however much it takes, I will give you everything. You just tell, you don't have to apply for loans and all that. He said, I will take care of everything. I said, no, I'm done with it. If I don't want to ever prove to somebody that I know what I know.
Ah, yeah. Right. So
And
you,
so
okay, go ahead. Yeah.
that's how I became a full-time teacher with the Art of Living.
So this happened in what, 96-ish, 7?
Much early, 94.
94. Okay, 94.
Just after I graduated, yeah.
And then you packed your bags, you landed up in Bangalore, and then describe
And
that day, the first day you showed up in Bangalore.
I got sent straight to Delhi. In fact, I flew as Rajshri Patel. Those were times when nobody checked for IDs or anything. So Guruji said, Rajshri का ticket है, उसका एक course है, वहाँ पे तुम जाके सिखाओ. So I actually flew as Rajshri Patel.
Is that why you have long hair?
No, no, no.
But what is it with that, yeah, Baba? I asked so many people. I asked Kashi, I asked Rajore. I said, "ये क्या है तुम लोग? You go to Bangalore and then you all have long hair. Like, what's up with that?"
So I have a legitimate story for this.
Uh-huh.
I used to have hair. You remember, if you remember me at that time,
Yeah, yeah,
very short like yours.
yeah. Mhm.
And I used to get splitting headaches if my hair grew even a little longer. Like at that time, I don't think I could have survived the lockdown. It would have driven me mad.
It
I
is
would
driving me nuts right now. Yes.
if I had to go to barber like the way people go to their doctors. It was like that. It was so bad. And I started thinking, I sit on this chair and tell people, you do your kriya and your health will improve, and you do your kriya and you will feel, and I am not feeling it.
Yeah.
I felt like a complete fraud there. And so I said, देखते हैं क्या होता है, and I just let it grow. uh, I remember at that time there was this the first massively multiplayer online game ever Quest, if
Okay.
you've
Right.
heard.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes. Mhm.
So I just played EverQuest day in and day out to to take my mind off the headache.
I see.
And it must have lasted for about 20-25 days. After that, it stopped. And then people started complimenting me, अच्छा लग रहा है, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, cool लग रहा है, this, that, and the other.
Yeah,
All
it's
the
cool.
others, by the way, copied me.
What's that?
All the others copied me.
Copied you. Right, yeah.
Come no, he's sitting here.
अरे गोडके साहब काय कसं काय? Come on screen, buddy. How are you, Dinesh?
Fabulous.
Very nice, very nice. So we went through the Bawa story of the first day at IIT. How was yours in '93?
And my brother was also in Hostel 6 in IIT Bombay. He was 3 years senior to me. So, and he was called Baba because during his ragging, he was to tell a story and he talked about, Bawa Bharti and Daku Khadak Singh. So
Acha.
his name is Baba. So they were all waiting for me. Baba ka bhai aa raha hai, Baba ka bhai aa raha hai.
Right.
And during those 3 years that he was there, I would go and meet him in the hostel, and all his batchmates and other people, they in a way they knew me, but they were also waiting for me. Abhi ye freshie ban ke aayega.
आएगा तो देखते हैं, right?
It was fun, and when my brother used to be there, they would just show him off. Tu nikal yahan se, hum
हाँ,
dekh le.
हम देख लेते हैं, बच्चे को लेके जाएंगे, correct. So you were in Meta, right? You were in Meta?
And from our batch, it was metallurgy and material science.
Oh, acha, you were the first transition ones. I see. So, so for people who don't know, 8-6 to, let's say, chemical engineering is the longest commute ever possible on IIT-B campus.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe
It was the last.
Maybe that's how he got fit.
Yeah.
When I got my rank, when I got into IIT, first thing I took was a bicycle. And Bawa keeps teasing me. It was that doodh wala cycle with a thing behind and in front.
I used to think it was his father's or grandfather's bicycle. And I used to, maybe there kuch to family ka hoga kuch to. And then I know that this person has actually bought the doodh wala cycle, like he's bought it.
It was an Atlas cycle. It was
Atlas, the black one.
I used it for 4 years.
To deliver milk.
No, but not only you used it for 4 years, Dinesh. I'm thinking it was used for 8 more years after you from somebody in the hostel.
But then we have to shift from Mumbai, so I think it got.
So I was
in Vikhroli. So I would use the cycle to go up and down the slope.
From the khadda, you would go up the whole slope on a bicycle? Kuch bhi.
Let me tell you. So, Mr. Ghodke, pardon to all the ghatis, including you, but he is okay. So, like, I want to save even like 6 paisa if I possibly can. Right? So one day I was outside at the gate, the
YP.
Gate.
Y point wala gate. YP, yeah.
And I see Mr. Ghodke completely sweating, like really, panting like a dog. And what did you just do? He said, "Oh, I saved 3 rupees." I said, "How did you save 3 rupees?" He said, "I ran after the bus from Khadda to Vikhroli station to the gate." I said, "You could have saved 30 rupees. Why? You could have run after a cab, you idiot." Anyway, that's Mr. Ghodke for you.
That is the Ghodke, right. So did you guys ever go to the Khadda? Kanjurmarg had a movie theater. तुम लोग गए कहाँ पे वहाँ पे?
हम आपके है कौन? I used to go while that movie was running. I used to go almost every alternate day. I must have seen that movie like 30 times.
Similarly, when we were at the campus, Hum was released. Hum, we actually made money on that movie. Kaise malum hai? We were sitting in the first row. Janta would throw money when that Jumma Chumma song comes. We would collect all the cash.
But the Khadda place that we would experience Guru stories like in stock. We would come back from, let's say, VT, and at that time VT, uh, coming back from a course or from a movie or something. And if we are like 9 people, there would be 3 rickshaws waiting at 12 in the night.
क्या
You know?
बात. Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever it was, it would be the exact amount of. Usually there would be none.
Yeah, but see, that's the advantage. You guys have done the course, whereas I had not. So I have a reverse guru story. I was walking back from Eros, late night movie, and somebody asked me, "Kitna baja bhe?" So I said, 12:10. The last local is at 1:30 or something. So 12:10. So I'm like, okay, 12:10, तो थोड़ा चाय पिएगा. So we drank some tea, etc. Then he says, "कितना बजा बे?" So I said, 12:10. मेरा घड़ी बंद था. Then we ran to VT station, Churchgate station, and we could see the end of the local going like that. That was the end. So we had to sleep on the platform, and at that time, so one policeman came. He says, "What are you guys doing here?" Type Hindi में मराठी में बोला कि काय करते हो इथे तुम्ही सगळे? Then we showed him our IIT, the I card, and that time it was a status symbol. Yeah, if you had an IIT I card, it was like you were somebody. So he says, "Oh, इथे नका बसू. I'll show you." So he took us to some waiting room and we slept there. And then the next morning, first local we came. So it was a reverse guru story. I wish I had done the course then. So how was it for you, Dinesh? I mean, Bawa was pretty clear ki he wants to be full time, etc. What made you, you know, go full time with Art of Living?
Yeah, I had 3 years of Bawa influence, no?
Ah,
Because I did the course in my second year. So yeah, even I wanted to be full time, and I was also
In fact,
a
he was not
teacher.
allowed to be full time by Gurudev only.
Yeah.
Oh, so you actually worked or what?
Yes, I wanted to be full time, and Gurudev said, "नहीं नहीं, थोड़ा काम करो, 2 साल, 1 साल, 1 साल 6 महीना." Then he said, "अरे ये तो कम होता जा रहा है, 1 साल काम करो." So then one of my friends just forwarded my resume to Infosys. I mean, I had got the dream job in on campus at that time. Deloitte and Touche had come for the first time.
Wow, yeah.
After like 4 written tests and 3 interviews, they had selected 3 people. And मैंने तो ना कुछ उसका prepare किया था, कुछ नहीं. My only I think skill was to be able to smile. Even if I was not able to answer anything, I would just smile. So they said, "Yeah, he's a confident guy. He can handle anything."
Yeah. So
But
did you
then, yeah,
actually work with Deloitte or you worked with
I
Infosys?
worked with Infosys for a year and 2 months.
I was instrumental for that.
You were instrumental? Okay, good, good.
So story, it's quite interesting. So of course I made Mr. Ghodke say absolutely no, he's not going to. But so the Deloitte had a 3-year contract that they had to sign and go to America for it. So I was like this very selfishly. I thought he is one of my star volunteers. He goes to America. I'll have to sit and train someone else for the next 3 years.
Exactly.
Forget about it. He's not going anywhere. And I really felt he would be fantastic as a teacher. So
At that time, you were already a teacher, yeah?
of course.
Acha.
So I felt that he should be a teacher, not do this kind of stuff. So I kind of convinced him and he listened. Then his brother called Gurudev and said, Isko, and he got like some crazy amount of money. How much was it?
At that time, $5,000 a month.
Wow, man, yeah.
So like that was like ridiculous amount of money at that time, right? So his brother calls up Guruji and says, "This power has stopped my brother from coming to America, etc." So Gurudev calls me. तुमने क्यों उसको रोक लिया? उसको इतना अच्छा पैसा मिल रहा है, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. Like 2 minutes, Gurudev must have said something. Then I said, Guruji, he had to sign a contract for 3 years. So there is a silence, and then Guruji says, "अच्छा किया रोक लिया तुमने."
Because he would have lost him for 3 years, right? Yeah. Nice. So, so Dinesh, when you joined, we were at the point where from, let's say, exit of IIT to full-time Seva. So describe life at the ashram, how much ever time you guys, I know you guys are very busy, you're never at the ashram, but how much ever time you spent at the ashram, there is a misconception that, people in the ashram, they're just, doing, I don't know, sadhana and meditation, this, that. It's like the misconception of people at IIT campus that they're sitting under a tree and solving all these esoteric stuff. Hardly anybody does that. So break it. Just destroy this myth about ashram life. What is it about ashram
Right
life?
then,
What's
now.
that?
Are you asking about now
No,
or
no. Then from then to now, the transition that you have seen like that.
wanna go?
No, go ahead.
So, like the ashram is the hub of all the social activity. You can say it is the nucleus of what's happening in the country, what's happening in the world. You know, to give you an idea, we are about 1,000 full-time people in the ashram.
Hmm.
1,000 people. And there are some 56 courses that are under the Art of Living banner, and some, I don't know, it may have increased, or 36 different departments. You see, so given this sort of a spectrum of the things that we are offering, right from Panchakarma to the Ayurvedic hospital that is there, and so many different courses. Then, well, we also have the cafe that we used to run.
The
It is
Gaushala.
called, we have the Gaushala with 1,000 cows as of now. And so much of agriculture that is happening. So,
Like, Sandeep, during this lockdown, Ashram was giving like almost 10 tons of food to the city every day.
Yeah, yeah. Amazing. Right.
so with all these different things that are happening, there is something or the other to be done all the time. Yeah. In fact, like Gurudev says, no, the mantra or the motto of Art of Living is there is never a dull moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So, of course, courses are there. Yeah, right from morning, something or the other is going on. Meditations and yoga sessions, and meeting lots of people. But along with that, well, and it's lots of fun too.
Yeah, yeah.
The ashram, they had started the ashram Premier League. Then ashram has talent. I mean, people have such amazing talents. You can right from singing, dancing, and stand-up comedy to you can whatever you can think of. So all these things keep happening. Uh, you know, so all aspects of the personality are sort of.
Right. So at IIT, we used to have these things called CAC sessions. Remember, we would just hang out in CAC sessions. Do you guys have something like that at the ashram called the ashram CAC? No. No.
Well, not now, but we do have.
When some other people from IIT visit, then the CAC session
Then
happens.
CAC sessions. Right. Right. So you guys, the two of you,
That is the, I mean, if I will be a little highbrow over here, but that is the problem with people around you who are not having that keenness of intellect that you have. It's difficult to have a conversation. Really.
yeah,
Uh,
no, I understand that. Yeah.
Really difficult because, you have to explain and you're not used to explaining.
Yeah. You're just not used to doing that, right?
Having said that, we have been blessed throughout our journey with extremely intelligent people around us. And so I think they have kept us mentally agile more than anything else.
But the two of you have really made meditation cool for the young adults. I mean, it all comes down to the two of you. The whole yes plus thing that you guys started. So I want to ask you, in the beginning, when this idea came that okay, we need to make this thing cool, what was the process by which you guys put things in motion? Because there's an idea, and then there's an execution of the idea, and then people say, no, this is not going to work, this is not going to work, and then you have to work through those blocks. So just tell us, like, how did it all happen?
Bawa has that amazing quality of execution, right from ideation to implementation. So when Gurudev told us, "Ha, youth ke liye kuch karo," we really invited everybody. Yeah, a lot of young people from diverse backgrounds, to share what they would like if there was a like a dream course for young people. Yeah, what would you like uh, addressed in that, you know? And we talked to people, obviously we knew people we did not know who were interested in spirituality or interested in anything else, and also the anti art of living community. We reached out to them also saying, acha tum logon ko agar ek kuch course karna hai, you want to do something, what would you like in that would, you know, make you take that step or take the plunge.
Right.
And they talked about more or less the same thing, and not just in India. We reached out because we had friends and students all over. So they said, of course, there were studies and concentration and how to like things that we don't like, and you still have to do them, stuff like that. Then there was about career and money. There was relationships, definitely. वो कहते हैं ना, नौकरी और छोकरी. These are the two things that are mind space. Yeah.
Right.
So all those things, how to handle parents. Yeah. So there are so many questions that people at that age group had, and they could not ask. Many a times they cannot ask their peers, yeah,
Right.
or may not get wise answers. They can't find that from Google. Yeah.
They definitely
So
can't ask the parents, because what do parents know, right?
so that's how the course got, happened. Yeah.
And we wanted to make it so that it is more of a realization than a talk.
So young
So-
people at that age, they don't want.
So Yes Plus had a lot of processes, and the course was taught through processes and games where people automatically realize, oh God, oh yes, oh yes. The whole course was full of aha moments.
Right.
So yeah, that was how it happened.
Yeah, no, it's great. And we've been lucky, Madhuri and I, we facilitate the Yes Plus at the University of Delaware. And when we go into the course, we don't tell them that we are married. We just show up as two individuals. And then at the last day of the course, they are thinking, because she's completing my sentences, I'm completing her sentences. So they're thinking, Inka kuch to bhi hai, right? And on the last day, they say, wait, we got a question for you. Are you guys like a couple? And we said, yeah, we are husband, wife. And then say, oh, we knew it. I told you so. It's like a... and it's exactly right, Baba, what you said. We have to do absolutely nothing as facilitators. The process just takes care of itself. It's beautiful. It's really amazing.
That's what I used to say. You don't teach a Yes Plus course, you facilitate it.
You just facilitate, right? In fact, the less you talk and the more you just let the magic happen, it is more powerful. The more you talk, you just destroy the whole thing. Yeah. Cool. I'd like to also ask you, over the years, you guys have learned directly from the boss, and we've learned by like two levels of separation, but we all learned. And the one thing that I've really admired in the two of you is how you dealt with deep personal loss. Each of you have gone through. I went through in the third year of my engineering. I lost my mom, but I didn't have the skills. I didn't have the knowledge to deal with it the way how amazingly and gracefully you guys, at least dealt with your own personal losses. So how would you like articulate it for people who are also struggling with this kind of issues, where somebody near and dear to you at one point in time just like is not there anymore?
So for me, when mom died, it was after she suffered a lot. So it was a release for her. This was one thing. It was a release for her. And then when you have the knowledge and everything, you know that it is just a physical body that has gone, and that person who she was may possibly already back. Who knows?
Who knows, right? Yeah.
Right? So it does not. I mean, what I tell everybody is just this: if you really love somebody very much, yes, of course, you feel grief for 7 days, 10 days, 15 days. But then don't you think that person only who has gone to the other side will say, "Kya idiot hai, chalna abhi kuch kaam kar."
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm cool. What's the matter with you? You know. So Yeah, so you have to accept that death is a part of the game that we are playing here. And when the show is over, the show is over, and you cannot sit in the theater when the movie is done. You need to get out and leave. It's like that. For Dinesh, it was much tougher because Deepak went very suddenly and very abruptly, and maybe you want to talk about that.
Yeah. But being with Gurudev over the years, like you said, yeah, I we used to be in the hospital when Gurudev's mother, Amma, was in the hospital, was in ICU, and we used to take turns, and it was so interesting. So I was in the hospital, then I came back to the ashram, and that's when she had left the body. And at one point I just felt, oh, Amma is here, you know and later on I found out in an hour or so that she had left the body at that very precise time. And that's when I realized, yeah, when you leave the body, it's like you merge with everything. It was a realization. Of course, at an intellectual level, you have heard that, that ice doll becomes the ocean, and you become one with everything. Another thing that happened was, I was in New Zealand, and I was meeting the people who I was staying with. They had said that there was this one lady, uh, Kiwi lady. So she was on a deathbed, but she wants to see you, wants to meet someone, from the art of life. And she used to hear Gurudev's that Om Namah Shivaya chanting. And so I went and met her, and I was just holding her hand. We hardly spoke. She could not even speak. Also, she was also quite young, and she just held my hand literally for half an hour, and and she was such a blissful smile, and whatever, I left. The next morning on the advanced course, I was conducting yoga. Yeah, it was around 7 in the morning, and suddenly I felt stuck, like while in the middle of the pose, I just thought about her, and I said, Jai Gurudev. And of course, after the session was done, I realized, I got to know that she had passed away at that very moment. And these instances, that they sort of make you realize, yes, what happens, and well, as Bawa said, and I remember Bawa also saying some other point, and Gurudev also saying this, that it's like you graduate, once you leave the body, you graduate. So all those things that Gurudev had said, time and again, through someone or himself, Gurudev had also said, when you pay attention to the invisible, then you are free. He was teaching you the pranayam, and he said, when you focus on the prana, you become free. And I realized, yeah, when you focus on the body and the object, when the object is broken, stolen, you have that sadness, or same with the person. Realized, yeah, if you just connect with the invisible, then you are free, sort of, free from that sadness. Or so all these different realizations, insights were happening as more than a concept. They were happening as a living reality. So yes, I also cried a lot. Yeah. And it was more out of gratitude that Gurudev was in his life, and is in our lives. And that's why it was much more easier.
Yes. What I think is the key thing that you said is realizing the realization of what the words you have heard to become an experience is what makes the shift. And the realization will happen only when you slow down and look at what is happening, not in a very hurried and feverish manner, but it took a virus. It took a virus to slow us down, man. Gurudev been saying for years, slow down, calm down. And एक virus आया, सबको बंद. Now, now we slow down. It's amazing.
And as the other day Bawa had put it on Instagram, the whole weight of the entire virus, which has put us, the whole world, in lockdown, is 1.75 grams.
Yeah, it's insignificant. Like, okay, so I gotta ask you this, Bawa, because Janta has asked me this question. They said Bawa has asked a cake problem, and what is the solution to? What is the cake problem, boss? क्या है problem? मेरे को बोल.
Just a joke, it is.
ना problem तो बोल पहला.
problem is if you cut a cake into 3 equal parts, right? Then each part is 33%, right? So what
Yeah.
happened to 1%? Because you got 33, 33, 33, which is 99%. What happened to the 1%? So the one
33.3%.
33.3% low. So फिर
0.1%.
0.9.
99.999%, whatever. You don't get 100% there. So what's going on there? So where did that cake go? So the answer is it's on the knife with which you cut
It's on
it.
the knife. Yeah, it's on the knife, right? But this is very interesting. So at one level, it's a frivolous problem. The cake is on the knife, but you could also pose it. Imagine a frictionless knife. Okay, you have the same problem. Where is the 1% go? And there are many versions of this, right? There is this missing 1 rupee that if somebody has 100 rupees and you give this change, that change, suddenly that 1 rupee goes away. Or there is some, in math, there is one. You have some geometric shape and you cut some pieces here and there and you reorganize. You suddenly have a square hole in the middle. वो कहाँ से आया? But this is so amazing that, I mean, to me, this is a very deeper question that when you take a whole and you break it, in the process, you lose something. The discretization is where the loss happens. And then the remainder has to be accounted for. This is also in the matrix, right? The guy says, the architect, that Neo is the sum total of all the remainder. So I don't think it's a frivolous problem. I think we need to explore this, that what happens in the process of breaking down the whole, you have to look at the remainder.
So yeah, I think we have to connect. Bawa did a physical problem, and I am from Meta, so it was a metaphysical problem.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, there are some things like this. No, it's just worth pondering, thinking, and letting go. Because if you go too much into it, then it screws your life.
Completely, yeah. Completely.
Ah, cool, man. Okay, all right, and then move on.
Then you move on, right? Yeah.
Actually, one of the more interesting things of that puzzle was that I had written 0.33, not 33.
Oh, and
And
nobody caught that. Yeah.
literally 10 people caught that.
Yeah, right.
So,
Yeah, that's what we are taught in chemical engineering, right? You have to specify the units. If it is 0.33, then it is dash. There's a unit list. Otherwise, you have to write percentage. If you don't write the units, it's a meaningless number, Yeah. Cool. So yeah, another thing that people want to know is
I had these lovely images of the cake which I didn't want to waste.
I have one for you, Bawa. Image of a cake. We did a Insta live where I made like a vegan cake, etc. And we went into the science of what happens and this that. उसके बाद में एक ऐसा triangular piece काट के एक photo है. I'll send it to you. You can have that one.
Yesterday we saw a guy with a T-shirt. It was written, "I will believe in tech. I will believe in technology if you can deliver.
No, when you can download food.
When you can download food."
Yeah.
Okay, Sandeep, you have to send it across somehow.
We will find a way, man. We'll find a way. अच्छा, tell me about board game, यार. तुम लोग कुछ तो board game बनाया है.
It's
How do I
called
buy it?
It's called Mumbai Connection.
Mumbai Connection, acha. Is it available for sale somewhere?
Only with me right now. Like we've got about a few 200, 300 of them left. So they just sit in the ashram until someone asks for it and then we ship it to them.
Okay, एक काम कर, एक box ले, उस पे मेरा नाम लिख ऐसे sticker से, ठीक है? Next time I'll get it from you.
Done.
Huh? So tell us, what is this game about?
So we got the board game. Here it is.
Aye, lovely. Yeah.
It's really, if I may say so, like a real work of art, and it was created by our entire team in the ashram in their spare time. So it's a lot of fun. People who have played it can't stop playing it. And I mean, even after all these years, even we play it so many times. So it's a really cool game. It's a spin-off from the very famous Ticket to Ride series. But if Ticket to Ride is rice, this is biryani.
Acha. This is biryani. Nice. And so why is it not available for like commercial sale, or what happened?
We couldn't figure out how to do it.
Oh, Amazon पे
Yeah.
डाल दे, क्या है उसमें?
हाँ वही उसका एक it's just not we never got around to doing
Got
it.
around to doing, yeah. Right. But at least एक बॉक्स मेरे लिए रख दे, okay? Otherwise you'll sell off everything 200 on Amazon, then बोलेगा चल अभी तू line में लग, it's like that. And this book, यार, tell us about this book. Um, you wrote like a couple of books, right now?
2 books so far. The first one was Ready Study Go, which is basically how to study. If there was one thing I really cracked in IIT, it was how to study,
Yeah.
uh, how to actually study. In fact, while I was writing the book, and many times Dinesh would proofread, and and he would tell me that, hey, ये तो मुझे नहीं पता था. And for the longest time, I felt that everybody in IIT knew, and I was the one who had to actually figure it out. But turns out that not many people know how to study. That's just some people are just lucky or they are sharp or whatever, but there is a methodology to how to study which can help you in whatever you are learning, whether you are learning the piano, whether you're learning a new language, whether you're studying in IIT, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And through the Yes Plus, we would keep getting these questions all the time, no? How to focus, how to study, how to concentrate. So I wanted to do something so I didn't have to answer that question again. So how Gurudev keeps saying, no, हाँ
Read
वो
the book.
नोट्स में लिखा है हमने पढ़ लो तुम तो मुझे भी वही करना था तो कहीं तो लिख लोगे.
Yeah.
To the book. So that's how that book came about.
So that is available on the commercial platform, right?
Yes, it's published by HarperCollins, and it's available on Amazon even right now. In fact, HarperCollins has kept it on permanent imprint. It has been such a good selling book that they have kept it on permanent imprint, so it will always be available.
And the second one?
The second one is called Happiness Express, and that was a play on the words of the course actually, where we say don't let don't make your life a pursuit of happiness but an expression of happiness. So Happiness Express just became the
Yeah. And these are available on Kindle format, or?
yes. Though I will tell you one thing, don't get Ready Study Go on Kindle because I've got many feedback saying that it is not proper. They have not translated it properly. Happiness Express is perfect on Kindle.
Okay. So I'm going to give you guys a challenge.
And Ready Study Go has now been translated into Hindi, Tamil, and Bulgarian.
Nice, very nice.
So more translations coming.
Yeah. Russian करना चाहिए, Chinese करना चाहिए. So I have a challenge for you guys, right? So, figure out a way to get author signature on the Kindle version of a book.
Okay.
That will be cool, man. है ना?
Suggestion
We'll,
taken.
we'll tell the publisher.
That's a good idea.
अरे होना ही चाहिए कुछ तो ना. We have to move it to the next level. And who best to do it than Bawa Dinesh,
I'll tell the publisher. Let's see what happens.
करते हैं.
Okay, so coming back to Bawa Dinesh, I'll put it in perspective for people who don't know. When you write, let's say, a research paper in a journal, the corresponding author or the idea generator person is the last one. So it is blah 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 blah, and then let's say the last guy. When you write a patent, it's reversed. The first guy is the idea generator, right? So Bawa Dinesh mein, who is who? Is it a publication or is it a patent?
Just alphabet. Somehow DND sounds better than DNB.
हाँ, DNB थोड़ा उल्टा connotation है, correct? BND sound.
Rolls off the tongue much better. BNB.
Yeah. And I was telling Madhuri that it had to be Bawa because दिनेश को बोल सकता है दिनेश कैसा गाय गोडके साहब कैसा गाय खुर्शेद के साथ क्या बोलेगा यार खुर्शेद stuck. It had to become Bawa.
Once, we were in Scotland and we were going there. So parents would have been telling the kids, for a few weeks or so that Bawa and Dinesh are coming, Bawa, Dinesh are coming. So when I went there, this small kid comes to me and says, Baba Dinesh, come play with me. Baba Dinesh, come play. So he thought it was one person.
One person.
Completely ignored me. It was like I didn't exist.
You
This
don't
is
look so kid friendly,
this is
Baba.
Bawa Dinesh. That's it.
Acha, this you don't look kid friendly. Yeah, maybe that's the reason. Yeah, quite possible. Okay, so I'm going to, I promised people that I will ask their questions to you guys, and crowdsourced some of them. So just bear with me. This is a good one. I am stuck in a vicious cycle with a guy who's toxic for me. How do I get rid of my feelings for him?
Don't try to get rid of your feelings. Accept that they are there. Accept that however toxic that person is, there was some attraction, some love, something that kept you going to him even though it was not good. uh, if and when you decide to leave that person, know that hurt will follow. And really what you have to figure out is, what will hurt more, leaving or staying. And I will tell you that leaving will hurt more to begin with, but once that constant pain is removed, you will realize what an idiot you have been, and how you could have let this person, uh, run your life like this. So the feelings will be there. Love is not a switch that can be put on and off. But at one point you have to say, okay, this doesn't work anymore, and I need to move on. And you cry and whine and whimper and be in the grief, and don't try to get rid of the feelings. Accept them, embrace them. They are part of who you are, and then move on.
And my cycle also Baba used to call vicious cycle, but it got me to the Art of Living course. My Atlas.
Yeah. What are the practice? Okay, this is not framed properly, but you will understand. What are the practice that can help me bring clarity in speech? So he's looking to get clarity in speech. What can he do?
um it depends on where he wants this clarity. See, if it's a presentation you are making, you're going for an interview, something like that, of course you practice, right? But if it's just basic clarity in speech, uh, how can you become clearer? I don't know. I would suggest maybe you read a lot. Sometimes clarity in speech doesn't come because your language is not powerful enough to express what you feel. And if you just read and see how other people have expressed, uh, that kind of through osmosis seeps into you. So,
Yeah, great.
and don't be afraid of making mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. Tell people, look, if I'm not clear, tell me I'm not clear, and tell me how I can improve. So when you open yourself up to feedback, maybe even criticism, uh, people will respond and you will learn.
I remember on my third or the fourth course, Baba had got me up front on that ego process. And I was such a introvert, I would never be able to even speak anything. And he said, talk about yourself. And I just couldn't say anything. And he said, so what's your problem? What are you afraid of? I said, people will laugh. So Baba had said, so that's good. They will laugh. You will learn. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Example, Charlie Chaplin made millions by making people laugh.
Yeah.
And coming from that consciousness, that Rishinam yata Chittanam, it is said, no, that really made sense. And in those next 3-4 months, the shift that happened in my speech, my language, the way I was communicating, it was phenomenal. So as Baba said, that ego needs to drop. Not It's okay to make a mistake, it's okay to fail, and you learn much faster.
That tees off so nicely into the next question, which is how to deal with the fear of failure.
By failing.
Right.
In IIT, I think IIT was the really first time this was the second time actually. It was the first time I failed was in my BSc. When I was giving my BSc exam, I flunked. I lost a year. And it was the first time that it happened in my life. And so I got up and gave it again. And I gave it a third time. Second time I got like 58%. And third time I got some 78% or something like that. I went into the first class category. And this is what I learned, that okay, you fail, you pick yourself up and you learn and you move on. And failure is good, because uh, once it's done, it's not so much of a shock anymore.
Yeah, खत्म हो गया.
ठीक है, फिर से हुआ.
Yeah,
So
fun.
it's not a big deal. What I always say is, it is don't call a failure, call it a learning experience. And if you have learned something from the experience, you cannot call it a failure. It is a learning experience. It's and you move on. The only thing is you don't do it again.
At least make a new failure, right?
Make a new mistake. That's what Gurudev always says. Make a new mistake.
Yeah. There's this question about.
By the way, we've talked about that in Ready Study Go.
Okay,
There's a
great.
whole chapter on dealing with failure.
Craniosacral therapy. The question is, what is craniosacral therapy? Don't kill the messenger, okay? I'm just the messenger.
Find out.
Well, we have one more hour, but we can talk.
No, it is a touch healing therapy. I had a terrible slip disc issue when I was about 20 years ago, and I was advised surgery and all that, and I refused to have surgery done on me. And CST is the one thing that pulled me out of it completely. To the extent that the doctor who took the MRI later said that the first MRI must be a mistake because it cannot heal like this. It was a combination of osteopathy and CST from some of the best practitioners in the world, and it is a phenomenal technique. And if I may say so, just like what we did for Yes Plus, we have done for CST. We have created a course that is such a kick-ass course that like people are so happy with the course. It's a long course. It's a Yes Plus was a 40-hour training. This is a 350-hour training.
Great, yeah.
Like 350 hours live, and then there is still 350 hours of homework that people get. So 700 hours of training we have created, and it's just absolutely brilliant, the training, the technique, and the results that people are getting out of it. So I would really, once this lockdown is done, I would really encourage people to look into alternative healing therapies instead of always just relying on allopathy.
So this is
Not
through like Sri Sri University, or this is like a standalone course by itself?
It's a standalone course which is run under the Shishi Tattva thing.
Okay. One interesting question is, when is the last time the two of you had a fight?
Oh, just yesterday.
And what was it about? That was the question.
That stupid poster. Oh, yes. There was one obscene poster that was made by the Ashram design team. I mean, they should not be
Called design team. Huh. Okay. Say it.
I don't know. Even milking cows is not good enough for them. They made such a pathetic, horrible looking thing, and this idiot actually went and put it on social media.
I gotta now find it. What did you put?
All traces have been removed. Internet has been sanitized.
So I was like, how can you put this? He said, but it has got the date. See, this is the ghattiness. It has got the date and the time. Who cares about anything else?
Yeah.
So, like that.
You cannot take the ghat out of the ghati guy. Come on, Bawa.
Though I have put a little bit of the Parsi into him, so it's bearable.
So, what part of the ghatiness have you imbibed? Because there are some good parts to the ghati behavior.
I like Varan Bhat. No, I like that. What's that? Shengarachi chutney.
Shengdani chutney, puran puri.
Puran Poli? Huh? Yeah.
Amras,
See,
yeah.
Amras. No, there
Arey,
are a lot.
Amras, yeah, you guys in the right place for Amras right now.
Dinesh's tenacity. Hello?
Yeah, hi.
Dinesh's tenacity, his patience, his ability to pull through things is unbeatable. You know, many things that we started, I would have given up if he was not there to "Kya chalna, khatam karte, khatam karte, khatam karte." So that aspect is undeniable. But yes, the extreme irritating aspects also exist.
Yeah, yeah. You know, this movie, kya naam hai? The guy is a proprietor of a garage car mechanic, and there's these two people who are paying guests with him. क्या नाम है उसका? Paresh Rawal is there, yeah. Paresh Rawal, Akshay Kumar, and
Uh-huh.
it's a hilarious movie. It's a funny movie.
Hera
Babu
Fairy?
Rao, Babu Rao, the
Yeah,
Babu
yeah. वही है, हेरा फेरी है.
Hera Fairy, हाँ. उसमें एक scene है मालूम है, at the end where this guy he loses his spectacles and he has a machine gun and he goes and he says Marathi Madus Daga Zala. You know, remember that? So there is that quality of the Marathi Manus. When they wake up, but it takes a long time for the Marathi Manus to wake up, I think.
No, I wake up earlier than Baba.
All right. So one last thing I'd like to talk to you guys about is, you know, we keep telling people don't be football of other people's opinion, this, that. And then we are all on social media where everything that counts is just somebody's opinion. So how do you deal with this dichotomy of,
The exact same way I dealt with Marx. Uh, I am here to put my content out. I think it's brilliant. If you think it's brilliant, you are intelligent. If not, well, I refuse to comment any further.
right?
So I have never understood the, you know, whenever I post on social media, I think, okay, what should I put there which people would love, which people would like to see, which I would like to see, you know? And I just post, I don't think too much about it. And it has worked pretty well so far. In fact, tonight only I'm going to, my Instagram followers just hit 25,000 today. So tonight I'm going to put the little Instagram thank you post. Uh, and it's nice to know that there are 25,000 people who actually like seeing what I put. But even if there were just like 500 people, I would still be putting it. So it's great. That's it. Nothing more than that.
So it is still quite a toxic environment, this whole social media thing. And I'm thinking we need to, not need to, but it would be nice to give these young people who are listening to this talk some pointers on how to, you know, not get sucked into the mess. Be there,
See,
but
social media has given the ability for people like you and me to talk to the world. See, if it was 1991, the only way we could have done this is through TV, and TV would have been impossible. Why would TV want to talk to Bawa and Dinesh, right? When they've got Himawali, for example.
for example, right?
So, social media has flattened that you don't need to be a in quote celebrity, and anybody can in fact become a celebrity. That is the plus part. Social media has given the ability for people to talk about things which normal mainstream media will never talk about. Like, take the example of craniosacral therapy. Uh, it is really a threat for uh, in quotes practicing allopathic doctor. See, you go to a doctor,
Or the pharmacy
or
body.
so what they will do, they will put say, okay, you know, go and get this test done, get that test done, right? And then they will give you some sort of medicine, something or the other. And usually it will take them like most often it will take them 5, 10, 15 days to really figure out what's going on with you. By the time you are already anyway all right. Now, when you come to a craniosacral therapist, through the touch, they can kind of figure out what's going on with you. Not only that, they can actually help you heal yourself, and without any external intervention whatsoever. Yeah, so many times, like Dinesh had a frozen shoulder, and again he was recommended surgery. Now, frozen shoulder surgery means few lakh rupees. Forget about the few lakh rupees. There is so much of trauma that is done to the body, cutting it open, putting it back. We don't know really how much it's going to help, how much, what is the percentage of movement that will actually come back, etc., etc., etc. Now, our friend Dr. Kapil Mathur from London came and worked on him for 45 minutes, and he was fine. He was sorted. So, this kind of stuff. See, now you and I are talking, and we are putting this on YouTube.
Right.
You imagine a BBC News actually carrying something like this, which is so dangerous for the
Yeah.
pharmaceutical industry, or for the So if you actually go and check out on the net, if you search craniosacral therapy, you will find a lot of people saying it is quackery. And I to actually go to these in quotes medical websites and see what they are shooting down now, because that is the one that you should be learning.
Correct. Absolutely right. Yeah.
So this is what we have to take from social media. But if your life revolves around how many likes you got, or how many people commented on your post, then I think you are missing the point. And maybe while you are 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, it's okay. Because at that time you are a football of other people's opinions. Come on, we were also at that time. We were
Totally.
also
Yes. Full
we were,
football.
we were very conscious about how we dressed, what kind of hair we had, all sorts of things. But post 20 also, if you are still uh, concerned about what likes you got and who said what to whom, then I'm sorry, but maybe you should learn meditation.
The first pillar of knowledge on the advanced course we talk about is discrimination.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is most important, because knowledge is there, right and wrong both are there on the internet. Yeah, you need to be able to take what is right, yeah, and get rid of what is not.
So what I've seen happening is people take this advice. Let's say they say, "Oh, Dinesh said discrimination, ye wo." It leads to inaction. So whenever some wrong has to be righted, that inaction will come. Arey yaar, ye to Dinesh bola ki be discriminate, so I'm not going to get involved in this. So that detachment is happening, which is not conducive, because if you don't speak out, when the right people don't speak out, then the wrong people win, because they are already speaking out.
But that is what discrimination is, no? That is the correct discrimination, that you need to know when to speak and when not to.
Right.
So like now this Black Lives Matter thing is trending.
Yeah.
And people have been talking about it. I don't like that you say Black Lives. Life matters. Maybe we can end with this, Sandeep. I was reading a science fiction story. I don't remember whether it was Isaac Asimov or Arthur C. Clarke, one of those two authors, and they were talking about when is it okay to have a war.
Yeah.
And the analysis was beautiful. He says that, see, when two sets of people who are more or less the same, uh, Hindus and Sikhs, for example, more or less the same, right? They may have some differences and they go to war, it's stupid.
Right.
You can always sort out those differences. Okay. So these are two sets of people who look like each other, who behave like each other, but may have some little things that are different. Okay. So over here, war is not justified. The second is when two types of people who look like each other but have very, very different customs. Like cannibals, for example. Now, cannibals there are certain tribes of cannibals who actually eat their own parents when they die.
Yeah,
The
right.
the logic is that when you eat the parent or when you eat the person you respect a lot, then their good qualities come inside you. It's a primitive culture. This is what they believe in. So from their point of view, if you cremate your loved ones, your people you respect, it's like you are wasting their whole entire life ka wisdom you have just
Given away. Yeah.
right. So here are people who look like you, act like you do, but their customs are utterly, completely different. And for a person like you and me, even thinking about such a thing would be barbaric, right?
Mhm.
Even here they say war is not justified. Uh, you can always respect each other's cultures, get together and say, okay, this you do, this, and you don't need to have a war.
Right.
The third type of creature is where they look significantly different from you, yet they are in symbiosis with you, like a dog or a cat or a cow or a horse. Nobody can say a cow looks like a human being. Yet to do a war on the animal kingdom over there is not justified, right? Which is the whole movement against non-vegetarian food.
Right.
That there are creatures that are uh, innocent, they have no say in the matter, they do nothing to you and you kill them. For what?
Not only you kill them, you first raise them and then you kill them after. Yeah.
So, so over here also war and violence is not justified. This is the only place war is justified is when that other creature, species, is so uh, dangerous that it threatens your very survival. It's like either that lives or you live. Then you go to war
Against corona.
against the virus, against if for I mean the context was an alien invasion of Earth. So what are these aliens like? That was the question that was being asked. Okay, they are not like us. Their customs are different from us, but do we really need to have a war with them just because their customs are different? Is it that their existence on the planet is threatening humanity as a species? If so, yes, war is required. But if they are just different, like a cow or a horse, don't you think we can live with them? Do we really need to go to war with them?
Right.
You know? So this was a very beautiful analogy that I thought. Of course, we routinely take medicines and we routinely take all sorts of healing things. And the point is that we are doing violence to those virus or bacteria that are inside us. But yes, they need to die so we can live, and their war is justified because they attacked us.
Right.
Right. But other than this part where you are being threatened, your existence is at stake because of some other uh, species or subset of species, whatever, then it's okay to go to war. Otherwise, it's not. So yeah,
Doesn't it come down to perception of threat? I perceive this as a threat to my existence, hence I go to war.
could be. I mean, I think that is why most wars in the world have happened. But like now we are at war with the virus, and that war I think is justified. Uh, but to go to war against, I don't know, some country here and there, uh, I
Right. So
don't.
you bring up a brilliant point. I think the point you're making is your perspective needs to be addressed so that you don't perceive this as a life-threatening situation. And the way to manage your perception is to silence the chattering in the mind and get into the holistic practices. And then your perspective itself gets fixed, and then all the logic follows.
Absolutely.
Like Gurudev says, no, it's war is worst act of reason. First, we
Worst
should.
act.
Like Godfather used to say, let me reason with him.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
This is really the point, that uh, how to alter the perception to see that uh, this is not a threat. This is only a perceived threat, and your brain is a very funny thing. It can perceive threat very easily, because 6 million years of living in the wilderness has kind of brought it to an edge कि कुछ भी छोटा हो जाए तो फटकता है उसका.
Yeah, correct.
Therefore, you require spiritual practices like meditation. You require alternative healing therapies like craniosacral therapy, where we can fix this non-invasively and holistically. Like, let me give you one solid example of understanding. For everybody, here is an example of how CST would work and how normal medicine would work. Okay.
Mhm.
So, I'm standing behind Dinesh. Okay, Dinesh, can you just raise both your hands up and down? Okay. Now, do you notice his? Keep doing 2-3 times. His movement is very smooth and unrestricted.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing something here.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Now do you notice his movement is not so all right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Do again. Come down. Do once more. Okay.
Right.
Now can you see that there is a problem in his right shoulder? The hand is not going up.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Dinesh, come down. Do once more. See, do you notice his right? Come on. Do you notice his right shoulder seems to have a problem?
Big time. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, this is what allopathy will say, that the right shoulder has a problem. Right? Clearly, the right shoulder has a problem. But if I turn him around, you see, I have done this. So there was no problem in the shoulder in the first place.
Lovely.
You go on trying to fix that problem which doesn't exist. And this is where alternative healing, holistic therapy will come in. That therapy will say, hello, shoulder में कोई problem नहीं है, कहीं और है, उधर जाके देखो उसको.
Yeah, problem ही नहीं है, really though. Awesome. This has been brilliant. But Bawa, I cannot let you go on this note. Okay, I got to ask you this question. On the course, we say 4 sources of energy. है ना? Food, breath, sleep. I mean, food, sleep, breath, and meditation. The 5th source of energy that we have to say is chai.
Okay.
No, all right. So now that Bawa has said okay, I'm off the hook. What's that?
You're the naughty kind.
No, because I got to have Bawa say okay, because the reason is I say this on the physics of pranayama. I'm saying, there's this guy in a blue shirt sitting in freaking America who's telling people 5th source of energy is chai. Eventually it'll reach Gurudev and he'll call me saying, kya sikha rahe ho logon ko tum? I'm hoping that happens. At least he calls me, right? It has been great, Bawa and Dinesh. We got to hang out more like this. I mean, it took a virus for everything to happen so that people actually started talking to each other. Should have done this without the virus.
But we did it, so that's a good start.
That's a good start, right?
The CAC session.
No, I'm thinking we have to do a proper CAC session. I'll get Kashi and Rajore and, even Birju will get. He's from freaking Kharagpur, but we'll get him also.
That Kharagpur, know what to do.
Chalo, don't perceive threat, we will still reason with him.
Yeah. This is great. Thank you very much for, taking out some time.
We could get Abu Joshi also.
Abu Joshi also. Yeah. Right. Abu Joshi also. Correct.
And we can ask him just one question on Trump and then, sit back and enjoy.
And go to war with it.
Right. No, he's toned down a lot. Yeah, he has not spoken about Trump for a long time now.
What are you saying?
I was asking him once, can you tell me one good thing about Trump, one good quality? He says he doesn't drink. I was quite surprised. Wow. He doesn't have alcohol.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, chal, it's been awesome, yaar. So we'll do it again sometime whenever your schedule permits. Okay.
Done.
Chal,
Okay.
bye. Thanks.
Wonderful.
Jai Gurudev.